Three, two, one, go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined here by the amazing, beautiful, bold man that is Victor. And Victor, my God, man, you came to coaching and you did some absolutely beautiful things. In your time in the coaching, you did a million things. You slept with a few women. You had sex with a woman that you met on the street literally a couple of hours before you were leaving the country. You embraced deep honesty and compassion towards those women, towards your friends, and towards yourself. You started saying you're sexy to women and being insanely honest about your sexuality. You kissed girls within just a minute or two of talking to them on the street. You hit on a girl in the park, and I love this. You had a 1 hour conversation with her where you both started talking about sexual bucket lists and kinks and dildos and vibrators and all of that stuff. You became a lot more peaceful and happy. You worked on humility and showing love towards yourself and other people. You were approaching, at one point, I mean, probably for the whole program, 20 or more girls a day. You grew closer to your father and other family members. You moved to a city, which you had always wanted to do. You got closer to your friends. You had so many days where you were full of gratitude to the point where you literally cried happy tears in public. It felt like at one point you were saying that every day. I'm so happy I keep crying in public. And you built strong connections with everyone here in the coaching. And you enjoyed it so much, you've signed on for another 3 months of coaching. I'm out of breath, brother. That was so much stuff. How do you feel? It's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah, I didn't expect this.
Mm.
I definitely didn't expect this when I started. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt at the beginning, it felt to me like this is not gonna work. And why did I spend this kind of money for this? What am I doing?
I feel like that's
And
really common though, dude. Like that's a
yeah,
lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. What did you like? I forget. That was like 3 months ago when you first signed up. What goals did you have at the start? Like, what were your expectations? Maybe we can say, like, of the coaching, of yourself.
I don't think I had that many expectations. I was like, let's try this thing and see how it goes. I've been listening to you for some time. I found you, I don't know, a year or so ago before signing up for coaching, and I've been listening to your podcast here and there, but nothing like super serious. But it made me feel really good, and a lot of the stuff that you talked about, I was really curious about. At the
Mm.
time, yeah, and then at some point I was like, I want to learn this stuff, and I had already had help with other people. So I was like, let's see what happens with Andy because I want to like speed this up and see how it goes with him.
I feel like we took such a different tangent, and this happens with basically every single coaching client. Like, you come to the group saying, I want to work on my dating life. You do that, but we work so deeply on like honesty or compassion or kindness. Or for you, a lot of the work was like letting go of your ego and being more open minded and being less judgmental and like healing relationships with your family members and stuff. Like, something you said when you finished up in the coaching, I really want to talk about, man. You said, when I first started, I didn't believe in the concept of honesty, and now I think it's one of my main values. What did you mean by like I didn't believe in it? Like you weren't thinking about it when you were talking to girls? Like,
Yeah, well, I guess for me it was always like more like, oh, I didn't know anything when I started this, even before the starting the coaching itself. But when I started, like the whole idea of getting good with girls, I was like, okay, I have to learn it, go and learn the pickup stuff, and I started doing this. And look, there were a lot of fun moments, and it worked when it worked, and it didn't work a lot of the time. And I didn't know like you could just go and be honest with the girls. I always thought that you can be, you have to be go play that game. And a lot of girls also do this. And I was like, you have to learn it so you can talk with them in their language in order for you to get laid. But it turns out this is not really true. Um, and I'm slowly learning this more and more.
yeah, bro. Okay, so I think of it like this. A lot of people think dating is like chess or like boxing. Like, you have to like fight men versus women, or chess, like you're trying to outmaneuver the other person. And then at some point, I feel like a lot of my content and coaching and all of that is, you look around and you're finally willing to admit, and you go, I don't like chess. And then you walk up to some women and you say, yo, do you enjoy playing chess? And she's like, okay, I was never going to tell anyone in this, but I hate chess. And then you go, should we just like not play chess? Do you want to just not play the chess thing and just have a nice time? That's dating. It's like men and women see dating as this chess match or this boxing match. You got to beat the other person. You have to conquer the enemy. And the real honesty and authenticity comes from saying like, do you like playing games with me? And she goes, no, I fucking hate it. I'm sick of it. It hurts. It sucks. I lose half the time. And even when I win, I don't feel good because now the other person loses and they feel shit. And then I feel guilty. And like dropping that whole game and just like moving towards honesty and integrity. It's so simple. Like, I guess I want to hear from you. Is it more simple than you thought? Like, did honesty intimidate you at the start? You're like, how do I be honest? And then now you're just like, I just be honest.
Yeah, yeah, honesty, yeah, it's definitely something I'm still working on because it's like,
Sure, so am I. So am I.
yeah. But honesty it was like really intimidating. You just go and kind of say what you want. Is this how it works? It felt like unreal to me. But I went to try it out and I was like super surprised what happened. Like I had really cool conversations when I was just basically saying what's on my mind and saying everything how I feel and whatnot, what's going on, and being absolutely, I guess, vulnerable. This is the other concept. So yeah, and I had like reactions that I didn't expect that I would have, and girls were exactly the same towards me, which was really interesting.
I think maybe some of the like fun standout ones in my mind were like, we kept pushing you and like gently pushing you towards like, just be honest. Like, what if you just walk up to women and just tell the truth? Like, just be honest with them. And you were scared to do that. And so you did the most beautiful like baby step that I've ever seen. You walked up to women and you said, can I be honest with you? And that was like your baby step. And so many of them were like, yes. Or you started saying, how honest can I be with you? And there were quite a lot that said, completely honest with me. I want you to be 10 out of 10 honest. And you took a deep breath and you were like, I find you really sexy and you have a hot ass. And like, what reactions did you get? Like, a lot of guys would be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you must have got yelled at. And like, what
No.
reactions?
No, like many of them were like super positive. Like I didn't expect this. One girl, like I still remember her. I told her like stuff like this. I think I told her like I don't remember what exactly, but it was like something super sexual, and she told me that I was a good guy, and I was like, what the hell? I like this is the last thing I expected. And
Because
she
you're
even
an
had a
honest guy.
boyfriend, which was like the interesting. Like after I told her, she told me, but like she just loved it.
Yeah, people like honesty, man. Because like, honesty is not a threat, but lying is. And so if you walk up to a woman and you do like the pickup artist stuff, or you hide your intentions, or you're not fully honest and you're holding back a little bit, then she has to wonder, what is this guy trying to get out of me? Like, what is his intention? Why is he talking to me? But if you just walk up to someone and say, hey, can I be honest with you? Yes, you can. I find you sexy. She fucking knows. Like, it's pretty obvious now. And you can say, I find you sexy. I'd love to take you on a date. Do you want that? She now has the option to say yes or no. She knows exactly what you're offering. And she's not sitting there trying to guess or defend. Like, she doesn't need to defend herself anymore, because part of the reason why men and women have these barriers and this like defensiveness is because they don't know what the other person is trying to do. They don't know if the other person is going to use them or hurt them or manipulate them or ghost them or break their heart or any of that. So if you just are honest and you say, here's what I want, do you want this too? Now they can just make a rational, calm decision. So yeah, I find people are way more vulnerable the more honest and upfront I can be. And that does take vulnerability from us. Like, it was scary for you, man. Like, it wasn't easy at the start.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm doing it. It's still scary, but I guess you get more comfortable with being scared and doing it. But like the more you do
Yeah.
it, it easier becomes because you already kind of have the experience. You've done it. I guess only at the beginning it's like the hardest, and then
Hmm.
it becomes slowly more and more. It becomes easier.
Yeah. And you weren't just honest with women, you were very honest with, tell me if you're not comfortable talking about this, but like, you were quite honest with your father. You were very honest with your mother and your sister. And, you don't have to go into details, but like, there were a few things that you were scared to tell your dad, and you were very worried about like judgment and stuff. And you were just like very honest. And how did that go?
Yeah, well, it went really good. Well, at least with my dad, it was like
Mm,
he's really into honesty too. Like
mm,
well, it's a long story, but we were connected like in the past few years because we were like more estranged before.
mm,
And well, when I started literally being as honest as vulnerable as possible out with him, and I told him a bunch of things that I had lied to him about,
mm.
and he had a really positive reaction. Even though, yeah, I didn't expect it. He had a positive reaction, especially when he thought about it. He was like, "Yeah, good job. You did exactly what you should be doing. Thank you for telling me." So yeah, that was unsuspected, and actually made our connection, like our relationship, even better, which was really
Mm.
interesting.
And even when it doesn't go the way that you want, like sometimes people will have a very like emotional reaction when you're honest. You know, you had that with some other family members. You did a really good job in the coaching, man, of like when someone wouldn't give you a reaction that you were expecting, you would sit in that and process that. And you did a good job of saying, it's none of my business how they react. If they're mad at me, well, they're allowed to be. Like, I don't need to control their behavior. It's not up to me how they react. I'm going to be as compassionate and kind and honest and loving as I can. And if they hate me for that, well, like, that's not my business. Because I think you had the temptations for a little while to try and like, would you call it control? Like there was a part of you that like wanted them to react a bit better or differently, like almost controlling their reaction.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
like in the coaching, there was this article that you sent me from Byron Katie about the three businesses. This
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
was like the most life-changing. It was like, I don't know, in the middle of the coaching, it blew my mind. Like I've read it like so many times, but it was like so good. It was like
Mm.
basically saying that you don't it's not your business to manage other people's emotions, actions, reactions, choices, and it's other people's. And I'm still working on like I know the theory, but it's still working on
Mm.
practicing it more and more. And the more I practice it, for me this concept like blew my mind completely. There are many more, but this one specifically is so helpful, because I
Yeah.
always thought the opposite. I always thought that when I do something, then the reaction of the other person is also my responsibility. And this
Yeah. Which
friend,
is like, oh, fuck,
yeah,
man. It's like such a hard place to live. Yeah.
yeah, and this always brought me so much suffering because I was like, oh, I was
Yeah.
not doing the right thing. And in truth is, you don't really control other people's reactions. And it took
Dude.
some time to
Yeah.
internalize it.
Bro, one of the biggest blessings of my YouTube channel, like I shit you not, is getting comments that are maybe not super kind. Like having people tell you like you should kill yourself, like stuff like that. Because I went through this long period, and Cam will tell you this, you know, we've been friends for ages. I tried so hard to get people to like me. I tried so hard to never do anything that would upset people. And doesn't happen often because most of the audience is nice, but still, even to this day, people will just hate you for all sorts of random reasons. And at some point, I realized it's impossible for me to be likable to everybody. Like, I just can't do it. I give up. I quit. I can't do this anymore. And that's when I started realizing, oh shit, I've been trying to control their reactions. Like, I was literally trying to control the audience. It's like, if I do the perfect video, then they can't be mad at me. And it's like, bro, why can't they be mad at you? Just let them be mad at you. Like, stop trying to be a little dictator going like, I need you all to love me. I need you all to say I'm a good coach and a good content creator. I need you all to subscribe and like me. And it's like, fuck you, Andy. You're like, you're not that important. And I guess we can start talking about the ego a little bit because, like, that's what this is. That's what it was for you. You had a big realization. In fact, you had a breakdown, brother. When I first started teaching you what the ego was, dude, I feel like you had a breakdown, man. You were like, oh shit, I have an ego. How could I have an ego this whole time and I didn't know it? And I was like, calm down. Everybody has an ego. And you're like, no, but I have a big ego. What's wrong with me? Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Like, what was that going through? That epiphany of I have an ego.
Yeah, well, it's a long time brewing. Like,
Mm,
so when I started doing all this, and whatever happened, like that kind of put me. I had an event that happened to me that with one of my friends that kind of put me in an interesting position because I didn't really. I was not like the guy that really didn't care about emotions, ego, all of this. I was like just doing whatever I was doing, like working my job, doing, like, going to the gym, and going out Friday, Saturday with friends, but I didn't know anything about this. And then
Mhm.
this event happened. I was like, okay, there is something more to learn from this. And then I started talking to some people, and then I was like, okay, there's this thing as ego, but I didn't fully internalize it. What is going on? And then when I was like in the coaching, I was like, and we kind of started talking about it, and I had listened to some of your podcasts about it, and when I started to actually get it, but like feel it in myself, what's happening, I was like, definitely mind blown, because you can
Yeah.
definitely feel some what's happening in you when the ego is like active, and it's really interesting.
Yeah. It's really fun to like look at yourself. Once you can learn to be a bit more like compassionate and understanding to yourself, which you're pretty good at, like you're actually pretty good at that. But it takes a bit of practice, hey, because the first time you start realizing, like, oh shit, I have an ego. I'm trying to control other people. Like when I get butt hurt when a girl says no to me and I go, I wish she'd said yes to me. Like that's my ego. That's my ego. Like it can't take any criticism or any rejection or anything. When you first realize that, it's very easy to start beating yourself up. But I think you did a pretty good job of like practicing some compassion in there. And something you said, which was really great at the end of the coaching, you said this whole journey, like this self improvement thing, I'm realizing that it's all about understanding yourself and then sort of understanding who you want to be. Like that's all this journey is, man. It's like there was no reason that you couldn't meet some wonderful women and have a great time. You just needed to understand yourself a little bit better and maybe understand them as well. So I guess on that note, like what things have you learned about women? Maybe what things have you learned about yourself? Like what comes to mind? What has this journey taught you?
There's so many things like
Yeah, I know.
yeah, there are so many things like it's basically thinking about what values you hold. I didn't
Mm,
really used to think about them. I was like more like doing whatever, and what values you kind of hold, like honesty, integrity,
mm, mm,
vulnerability, and being more self-aware. This is where a lot of this also kind of a lot of the self-improvement parts come from, because you can only be as honest with yourself as you're self-aware. You cannot be like you literally are missing like parts of what's happening in your, I don't know, psyche
yeah, like
consciousness.
blind
If you that
spots.
you
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not self-aware, and you become more and more and more and more. Um,
Mm,
those are kind of like the biggest things that are coming to my mind right now. And for women, like for me, the biggest shocker was like, because I used to like at first I learned all the pickup stuff where the girls don't know what they want, girls are like this,
yeah.
and yeah, you have to like, and for me, well, it made sense because I didn't know anything, and now when I talk to more girls, it's like this doesn't seem true. Like it's definitely work in progress, but that doesn't seem that when you're honest as hell with them, it seems that they do know what they want, and then when you give them like the way like they're comfortable enough of expressing it,
Mm,
like it's just saying that, knowing that you're not kind of gonna have a bad reaction, then it's magically they know what they want, which is really interesting.
bro. Okay. So this is such a fucking beautiful topic, man. So many guys out there say exactly what you just said, what you used to believe. They're like, women never know what they want, and women can't just say what they want. And women will say the same thing. They'll go, men never communicate. Like the two genders will just say, neither one can talk. It's because we'll just talk about men for a second. Men are walking up to women, playing all these games, being extremely judgmental towards themselves and the woman, not being able to take rejection, which is judgmentalism. You're not being open minded and chill, because a chill person walks up, says, hi, you're cute. Can I talk to you? She says, no, thank you. I have a boyfriend. He's like, cool. Like, great. Like, that's a chill person. And if you're not walking up with that energy, she's going to be closed off. And then if you're not being directly, what we call autistically honest, she's never going to tell you what she wants. If you walk up and you're like, hi, what's up? Like, do you know directions to the shop? Do you know where this is? Like, hey, if you don't just walk up and say, like, I find you attractive, would you like to go on a date with me? Then how can she ever tell you what she wants? And so many guys are playing these weird games of like trying to figure out if a woman is into him. And women are doing the same thing. Does this guy like me? Does he not? And they'll go and talk about it with their friends instead of just being honest with the person. And so everyone's playing these fucking games. And so, yeah, no one's being honest. And so I can see why men and women both go, men never just say what they want. Women never just say what they want. It's like, you're the one doing it. If you want people to be honest, walk up and be honest. I think I said this to you early in the coaching. I say, if you want other people to trust you and if you want them to open up to you and be honest and vulnerable, you got to do it first. Because like 95, 98% of the world will just not be honest. Like they just haven't had a chance to be honest. They haven't had a chance to practice it. But if you go up and be honest first, then they will. But like they're not going to do it first because they're just as scared as you, maybe even more scared. So you definitely embrace that if you want to call that like a masculine role or whatever. But like women can do the same thing. But you just went in there, man. You're like, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to say what I want. You did it with your friends, and beautiful conversations happen, man. Beautiful connections happen. But I feel like it has to be us. Like anyone listening to this channel, it's got to be you, man or woman. It's got to be you.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Another thing for me was like I was well, obviously men and women are different. Like there's
One
but
has a penis, one has
yeah,
boobs.
yeah. Obviously there are differences biologically and like socially, but
Hmm.
like I in my head it was over exaggerated how different we are.
Hmm.
Like there is at least when I started this, I thought that I saw like in some sense like women like some alien you kind of have to learn to talk to, which is really
I
funny.
know. I used to
But
think the same fucking shit, man. Like, yeah.
yeah, you
How
have
do
to
I talk
learn
to
this.
women? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to learn this special language of indirect language to get
Yeah.
to talk to them, and it turns out that the more you talk and kind of connect with girls, it's the more you realize it's just you're all human and you kind of have similar problems in most of the cases. And
Hmm.
while they have some that are more women specific and that you have your own guy specific problems. A lot of the other problems are like just human
Hmm.
problems that you're figuring
Yes.
out. And you can just be like, you can be really empathetic and put yourself in their shoes because you have most likely gone through all the problems that they are going through. And the other, what, 10% that are just women specific, you can still kind of there's still problems they have the same resolution as any other problem, so you can like really understand them better.
And if you don't understand them, and this is where like men with like pickup
Yeah,
artist shit just go completely crazy. If you don't understand them, just fucking ask. Like it's not that hard to say like, "Hey woman, I don't really understand. Like why do girls do this?" And then she'll explain it to you. Like she just will. Or you say, "Why did you do this?" Or you said this. What did you mean by that? Or like there was a girl that I was texting yesterday and she's like kind of slow to text. So I just had a conversation with her about it when we met in person. I was like, "Hey, I noticed that you're like really slow to reply and you don't really write much and like, is that just like you don't like to text or like are you not that into me? Because if you're not into me, like we don't have to go on a date." And she was like, "No, I'm sorry. I just like I'm not a big texter. It's actually because I don't like my phone. I hate my phone. I hate texting. I just try not to use it." And I was like, "Cool, now I know." Like you can just ask a goddamn question. And most of the time the answer is pretty simple. Like, "Hey, why didn't you text me in the last like 2 days?" "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was like really busy, but I really want to see you." And you're like, "Oh, cool, thanks." Or, "Hey, why do women sometimes do this and not that?" And then they'll just tell you. So the answer is often a lot simpler. But I think if we're afraid to have these conversations between the two genders, then we're never going to figure this out. And a lot of like pickup artist stuff, man, I make this joke where it's kind of like, imagine this is a telescope, right? This is like pickup artists. They're like looking at women from the distance. The men are like hiding in the bushes and they're like looking at women, spying on them. And they're like, all right, what are these women doing? We've got to figure this out, guys. We've got to figure it out together. And I don't know why, but I was just the weird autistic one who just walked over to the women. And I was like, "I don't understand you. Can you please explain yourself to me? Why are you like this?" And then they were like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm like this because of that." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then I walked back to the, weird pickup artist in the bushes, and he's like, "Well, you can see the female species here is playing this game." And I was like, "No, she's not playing a game. She's just tired. That's why she didn't reply to your text." And they're like, "No, it's because she's playing a game and we need to play a game back." And it's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna go and have sex with her. You can keep playing with your fucking telescope or whatever. I'm gonna build a connection with her." And I think a lot of men do that. A lot of women do that. They get in their little social circles, like girls group, and they start gossiping about men. And they pull out the phone and they're like, look, he said this to me. What do you think he means by that? And she's like, oh, well, I think he means this. No, he means this. And they just fucking gossip about it. And my favorite thing to say to them, if I ever have any female friends doing that, I say, why don't you just fucking text him and ask him if he likes you? Like, just text that. And they go, we can't do that. No, can't do that. Okay, fine. Then keep playing your games. But yeah, it's this sort of amazing journey you go on when you step around all the games and you put the telescope down and you say, I'm just going to go talk to that person that I'm scared of. And like, you definitely did that. You did that 20 or 30 times a day, every single day.
Yeah.
You realize how fucking weird that is, man? Like, I mean that in a good way. That you were just like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep studying this shit. I'm just going to go talk to 20 or 30 of them every day and see what happens. That's weird, man, in a good way.
Yeah, I think at least to me it's really good to hear. But like I like the apps too, but like getting said to your face in some way,
Yeah.
no, is like really good for the soul. I think like this is I think like the times that I got told no and it literally hurt, like it felt really I felt really shitty. Like I
Yes.
remember I don't know 2 weeks ago or whatever. I talked to like 16 girls and all of them said no in some kind of manner.
Mm.
Like I didn't have a single like longer conversation than 1 minute and or like 2 minutes, and all of them were no. And it felt shitty. Like it was ego, it was everything, and this is where it felt like the stuff that the processed, I guess, my emotions and whatever was happening in my head the next day. It felt magical. Like it felt so
Mm.
good. Like in the moment, it didn't feel good, but later on, when I was like thinking about it, going through the understanding what was happening to me and like thinking about it, and I got so many learning lessons from that day. It's like it's on par where you actually go and like kiss a girl or like you get instant dates or whatever with girls. It's like similar.
Mm.
It's as good, but it just at the moment it doesn't feel that good. But on the next day or even hours later, it feels amazing.
Yeah, you said something beautiful. I'm probably going to make this the title of this video. Pain is good for the soul.
Yeah.
How fucking beautiful is that, man? But you have to look for the goodness in it because our brains want to run away from pain. Fair enough. Like we don't know how to react to it. We don't know how to handle it. And same with rejection. A rejection is just pain for some guys, and for some girls, it's trauma. Like it's literally trauma. And it's okay to feel that. I think that's something that you did a pretty good job of. You were pretty good at feeling whatever you were feeling. You go away, you think about it, you process it. And then the next day, like you said, you look for the hidden benefits of it. You say, this is making me stronger. This is teaching me that, like, if anything, this is humbling me. I had this literally today. Someone that I've been talking to said, hey, I showed my website or your podcast to this friend of mine, and she immediately said, oh, I don't like this Andy guy. Like, I don't think you should trust him. Like, he doesn't seem safe. Like, he doesn't seem like a good guy. Do you know what that made me feel? Immediately, that made me feel, obviously, I'm sure you can imagine, like a bit weird. And then I thought about it, and I had a giant smile on my face, and I was like, thank you. Thank you for keeping me humble, because my ego was starting to get a bit big there. I was starting to think that I was hot shit and that nothing I say will ever offend anyone and that I'm a great person and everything I put out is just perfect. And look at me changing the world. And then you came along and said, I don't like this guy. Like, that's keeping me humble. The same thing with having like 16 women in a row say no to you. You're like, oh, I guess I'm not like a sex god. Cool. I'm just a dude. I'm a normal person. Okay. Now, when I go over and talk to them, I won't be arrogant. I won't be like walking up thinking I'm the best person in the entire world, like prideful. And that was something that you wanted to work on, or you did work on a lot in the coaching, was like, you asked a few times, like, how do I not be full of pride? Like, how do I stay humble? And the answer is obviously, if you're even saying, how do I be humble, then you're doing a pretty good job of being humble. But how much did being humble help you? Like, not getting that big ego? Because it would have been tempting, dude. You did some amazing shit. You could definitely come on here with a big ego.
Yeah, well, yeah, so it's definitely like at least I figured out you never like really gets rid of your ego. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
like
correct.
always
Yes.
there.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
it's
I know.
it's never like okay, I have to do like
No.
1,000 approaches and the ego is gone. It's fixed. Problem is solved. This is another thing in the coaching. It's like
Yeah.
it's constant. You just become better at like being more aware of what's happening and having the experience to handle it. And yeah, I get this what in psychology they call exposure therapy or whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, this is what's happening. You just kind of feel more and more, and you're like, okay, right now, like I'm just I got super defensive, and I'm being protective of myself. So you kind of realize what's going on. So that's
Hmm.
one of the big things.
Let me share something on the screen here so we can all see it together. This makes me laugh every time I see this.
Yeah.
So, for anyone listening, there's a man with beautiful long hair, and he's saying, "Yes, I finally killed my ego. Now I'm better than everyone else." This is what the ego wants to do. It wants to say that it's better, man. And I love what you said. Yeah, there'll always be that ego there. I think part of it, because we had so many deep conversations, man. Like, I don't know if you remember, but you asked me so many questions about the ego, and you were like, "How do I get rid of my ego? How do I like beat my ego?" And I sent you so many articles. I wrote so much. I gave you long voice messages, and I basically said, "Here's how I look at the ego. Here's what works for me. I look at my brain or my ego as like a scared little child. It is that little afraid part of me that says, I don't want anyone to be mean to me. I don't want anyone to hate me. I don't want any girls to say no to me." And like the ego is just scared of like everything all the time, always, forever. It's really scared. And it's my job as the adult to give it a big hug, to look after it, to cuddle the ego like it's a baby, which it kind of is. It throws a tantrum like a child would. I love that baby. I look after it. I care for it. I nurture it. I don't take it seriously. Like if a child was to say to you, "We should go and play on the road and we should eat 100 ice creams today," you'd go, "That's cute. I love that you want to do that. But here's why we're not going to do that, because that will make us sick and we'll die." And so you talk to the ego, you look after the ego, you love the ego, you don't take it too seriously. You still listen to it, because if you don't, then you'll suppress it, and then you'll come out with self-medication and addiction and drugs and all of that. But it's our job to sort of love the ego and nurture it. And that was a big change that I noticed in you. I guess you could call that understanding and compassion. Because for a little while there, man, it did feel like you were kind of mad at yourself for having an ego, or like mad at the ego. I went through the same thing. I went through the same thing.
Yeah, at first I thought it was like it's your enemy that you have to conquer. Yeah, yeah,
Which
and
the
they're
ego
like,
loves that. The ego loves that, because think how important it feels if you make it the enemy. It's like, yeah, I'm so important. I'm a big bad villain. It's like, great, you just made it bigger.
yeah, and yeah, and yeah, and they're like on the internet. There's so much information, and some of the information like this it can be really confusing, and everyone has to
Mm.
find what works for them. Like there is no single way to do anything. There are like multiple ways to do it, but I have found that being like the way you do it, at least for me, being more compassionate and loving towards yourself and your ego and everything is easier on me. It's definitely something I'm working on and getting better, but it's better than having so many internal conflicts. You still have them, but like you kind of resolve them as they go. But like instead of aggressively creating them all for this ego and everything. So
Yeah, there are a couple of things that like help you get over the ego, and it would be things like love, compassion, understanding. I guess those things right there. And so this is why we talk a lot about self-love on the channel, and why we don't, like, this from the coaching, we don't beat anyone up. Like if you're having a bad day, or you don't go out and talk to women, or you don't build your business, like you don't do what you said you were going to do. We don't get in there and be like, "Come on, pussy, like why did you not do this? Do what you said you were going to do." No, we will jump in there and say, first of all, that's okay. Like you're a human being. Like you don't have to be productive every day. I'm not. Second of all, let's figure out why. Let's get some understanding. Like, why didn't you get off the couch today? What were you thinking and believing and feeling? Let's deal with that. And so a lot of this is like self honesty and self understanding and self compassion. And like, rather than vilifying yourself or your ego and saying you did something wrong, it's like, let's figure out why. On the topic of like, you kind of said there, I figured out that there's more than one way to do things. There's not just one right way. Maybe we can talk about women again. You kind of said that a little bit with women. You were like, I realized that there's no right way of meeting women and going on dates and sex and relationships and all of that. And that you'd been a bit confused by, all this other stuff on the internet. I think there are a lot of voices on the internet telling you this is how you meet women, and for women there are too. This is how you meet men. And you had done a lot of the things that people say work. Like you went to the gym, you have a great body, you did you got a good career, you're in great shape, you have money, remote job, like you travel, like you've done all of that stuff. But you said most of the girls that did come to me, which is quite common with guys that improve themselves a lot, most girls came to me, but I didn't know what to do with them. Like, do you have any specific stories, or was it just sort of like, I just didn't meet any women because they'd come and I didn't know what to do?
Yeah, well, so yeah, I had like girls come up to me, but it's basically I literally didn't know what to do, how to talk to them like normally, and I was inexperienced as hell, and I figured that ultimately, like anything else kind of in life, you want to put in some work and some hours and experience to kind of understand what's going on there. And for stories, I do have some, but like I had a story with one of my best friends at the time, and well, I will summarize it real quick. Some stuff, some things were happening, but at the end, we really didn't. We forgot that all honesty and communication there, and we didn't talk about it. I didn't talk to her. She didn't talk to me, and ultimately, like she was at first she was interested in me, then she kind of was not and rejected me. And I didn't take the rejection lightly. Like I took it like in the worst possible way that a guy can take rejection.
Like a personal
And
attack. Yeah.
yeah, I took it like, and so not to be too hard on myself, I literally didn't know what was going on at the time. Like I didn't understand anything. I was like super confused. And I did my best, and it's still something that I'm thinking and working to how to process this. But it was a really big learning experience for me, and uh, I'm. It was life changing event. It was like a canon event that had to happen for me. Like I felt awakened after this, if that makes any sense. It was really good. It was painful as hell, but it was painful because I made it painful on myself, of course.
Yeah, but you didn't
But
mean to at the same time.
yeah,
Like, you know what I
yeah, I
mean?
didn't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
like aware, but for me, it made me like reevaluate a lot of things in my life, like especially like the personal life, especially, and what I wanted, and it made me to get. I guess it made me go harder into self-improvement, learning all about girls, and this was something that I've always wanted. Like when I started
Yeah.
going to the gym, when I built my career, I was like, well, girls will come when I do all this stuff. This is
Yeah, and then
what
I
I
don't
was
have to
taught.
do anything. They'll just come and
Yeah,
they'll talk to me and they'll make all the moves. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and literally this happened. Literally this happened, and I still kind of fucked it up. And I was like, okay,
Yeah, man.
maybe obviously there is something more here. Let me investigate. Let me get better. Let me learn. So yeah.
What's funny is you say learning, and like it is learning, but it's also unlearning. Like you said,
Yeah.
there's a thought in your head. There's a thought in basically a hell of a lot of men's heads, which is like women are weird and they're different, and I have to figure out how to talk to them. Women have the same thing, and you have to almost unlearn that. Because if you watch a lot of kids, like kids can just talk to each other most of the time. They just start talking. They just walk over and they're like, "Hi, I'm Sam. Do you want to be my best friend?" And then they're best friends. They can just do that. And then somewhere along the way, maybe in high school or something, we learn like, "Oh, I shouldn't just go and talk to strangers because like it's dangerous." Like maybe our parents say, "Don't talk to strangers because it's bad. They could kill you. They could do whatever else." And so you stop that, and you're almost unlearning that. It's almost like we've all learned collective trauma or collective fear of strangers and especially the other gender. And we're unlearning that and realizing like women aren't that scary. And for any women listening, men are not that scary. Like, man, because you're in the coaching program and you're a nice guy yourself. How freaking nice are all the men in the coaching program? Like, how just genuinely lovely are they?
Yeah, everyone's pretty cool. Everyone's like working on their thing. So, and everyone is
Yeah.
like doing their best to kind of achieve it. So yeah.
Yeah. And then think how many women in the world would be scared of those guys? Like a lot. And
Yeah,
you know these
yeah.
guys, you're like, but they're so sweet. And like you're like the nicest guy. I'm nice. And yet people still get intimidated by me. I don't know how to be any nicer than I am. Do I smile more? I smile all the fucking time. Like I don't know how to be any nicer. And people will be scared of that based on a misunderstanding or a judgment or something that someone else told them, or all of that. And it goes in reverse too. Like as you start to talk to more women, which you've talked to hundreds now, maybe 1,000, I don't even know. But as you talk to all of these women, bro, the vast majority of them are nice. I think you've had maybe 3 women ever that weren't that nice to you. Like 3 maybe? And like that's so rare.
Yeah, it's rare. And
Yeah.
like it usually, as we just said before, it was like their reaction is like I guess they're just showing you how they feel in the moment. So
Yeah,
the
they're being
same,
very honest. Yeah.
yeah, and if they're like mean to you, it means that something's happening with them usually, because that's the way it goes. Of course, I still take it personally. Like even if a girl is like super direct, I'm still like, oh fuck. But it becomes easier and easier to process. And at some point, like at first when I had like a bad reaction, like a girl would be like, can you go away? Literally, this is the bad reaction. And it took me like an hour to like calm
Mm.
down and be okay. And now it takes me like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And in the future, I know it will take me even less the more I do it. So
Yes. You get to a
uh,
point where it takes like 10 seconds. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And even a point where it just happens automatically. And you kind of, by that point, you can start to relax into it. You probably are already at this point where you're like, I know I'll feel better 1 hour from now. Okay. I just have to wait 1 hour. And then you just go and do whatever you were going to do. You go and do the dishes, you live your life normally. And then 1 hour later, you're like, oh, I feel good now. Cool. Yeah. It only took an hour. So eventually you start to relax. Like I have this as well. If I see a YouTube comment that's maybe not super kind, it will affect me for, it depends on the comment and stuff, but like, I don't know, a little bit, not long. It's like sometimes it's like 5 seconds. Sometimes it might be half a day. Sometimes it might still be 2 days. Like it might affect me for 2 days. But during those 2 days, I'm not sitting there doing nothing. I just know that it will eventually get better. And there's things you can do to speed that up, like talking to friends, like doing the work, being stoic, cognitive behavior therapy, all of that. But there is almost a nice peace knowing, like, oh, this body is just a little bit upset right now. The ego is just taking it personally. Okay, cool. I'm going to live my life. The ego will figure itself out. The body will calm down and it will stop shaking and stop being angry. And yeah, I'll be okay. Like you don't care. It's not that you don't care, but like you don't take your emotions so seriously after a while. Like you just notice them. You still value them. You still appreciate them. You don't suppress them, but you're like, I'm angry and that's okay. I'm hurt and that's okay. I feel really betrayed and rejected and sad and like, that's cool. Okay. Like, you think I'm the first person on the planet to ever feel rejected and sad? No, that's like every human being has felt that like fucking all the time. I mean, God, people will go to the ice cream store and hey, can I please have a chocolate ice cream? And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of chocolate. And then they'll feel fucking rejected. And they'll be like, why is the universe doing this to me? I really want a chocolate ice cream. How could they run out of chocolate ice cream? Why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. I've had a bad day. I hate life. I hate God. Like they take it, it's personal rejection. So people feel rejected all the time, man. It's just that in the moment we're like, this is so serious and this is only happening to me and nobody else has ever been rejected except me. And if they have, it wasn't as bad as this. And even if it was as bad as this, I don't care because I'm in pain right now. And so, like, stepping outside of all of that and going, man, I'm human and humans feel sad sometimes, and that's okay. That's very freeing, man. Like, I maybe want to make this very clear that stoicism and all the work that you've done is not about just ignoring your emotions. And maybe on that note, if you're comfortable sharing, maybe I'll say this, and if you're not comfortable sharing, we can cut this out of the video. But like, you had a lot of days of like crying, like, and purging and letting that out. Are you comfortable sharing that, or would you like me to cut that out?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, whatever, let's do it.
If you want to know the truth, bro, I've had a million days where I cry. Like, you know that about me already. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't used to cry, so like I guess I had
Neither
to
did I.
stop.
I would go like 5 years before I would cry. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't cry
I
at
think.
funerals, nothing.
Yeah, I think before the coaching, it was like years. Like it was like
Yeah.
I don't know, 7 years. Even like when my grandma passed, I was like, I didn't cry.
Mm.
So that was, and then it just, I guess it was all like suppressing emotions and everything. And then when you kind of let it out, it just goes and all goes and goes until, and it continues on and on and on. So yeah.
Mm. Mm. Crying for men is like maybe the scariest thing ever. For me, I thought it was death. Like, it was pretty close to death for me. I had that big a fear of it because I thought that crying meant that you were accepting that you were hopeless or that it was so bad that like you may as well die. Like, I literally saw crying as like pretty close to like suicide or death. And as I started to rewrite that story and go like, no, you're sad, so you cry. Oh, you're so happy that the tears just come. Like, you watch a Pixar movie or a fucking Disney movie or something. The beautiful princess gets with the beautiful prince, and then you cry a bit. Like, cool. Your body just like let go of something. Like, at some point you realize that crying is healing and it's okay for men to cry. It's okay for everyone to cry. But like, I did not believe that. That took me like 30 something years. And it actually wasn't until I did LSD several times that I cried during one of my like psychedelic trips and I let it all out. And I was like, huh, like this isn't bad. Like, I'm allowed to cry. And that was probably the first time I'd cried in like 5 or 10 years, like, honestly. So it's a funny thing, man. But like, this is one of those things that girls have been telling us since the dawn of time, right? Like, why don't men cry? Like, it's okay to cry. And you're like, sure, sweet cheeks, you can cry, but like, I'm a big, strong, tough man. It's like, at some point, I realized if I'm so big and tough, why am I so fucking scared of this thing? Like, if I'm so big and tough, I should just be able to cry a little bit, be like, man, and then tears come out, and I'm like, cool, done. Look how tough I am. Like, but the fact that I'm so fucking terrified of this, that started to make me think like, am I really as tough as I think I am? The same with like sharing feelings. I would never tell my male friends that I love them. I would never really talk about feelings. And at some point I was like, wait, am I just doing this because I'm afraid? Like, that's not how I want my masculinity to be. And other people can do whatever they want. But yeah, some people at some point I was like, I want to fucking be able to conquer this fear. Was it a conscious thing for you to like overcome that fear of crying and that fear of releasing? Like, did you do it on purpose or did it just kind of happen?
I think well, it was on purpose, but like I guess, well, it just happened, but it felt
Mm.
like, I'm not sure when it happened and how it started happening. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's kind of, I don't know if I felt in some sense safe and that I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
then I did it.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I did it, and it felt really good. And
So I
yeah,
I did my first cry completely alone because I was like, that's the only place I can cry by myself. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it
We're
turns out
funny.
it's good. Yeah, it turns out it's good. Yeah, and yeah, I like, I'm even I'm even ashamed to say it now, but it's still it's still something I'm working on. But I
Yeah.
think it's ultimately, it helped me a lot.
Yeah. You'll get to a point where you're not ashamed about it. You just be like, whatever, I cry. Like, I
Yeah,
would just tell people. I tell people when I'm nervous, like you and I talked about it before we started this podcast. You said you're nervous to do this. I said, yeah, I'm a bit nervous too. Like, I always get nervous for these interviews because I want them to go well. I have expectations that I'm working on letting go. And so, like, if we can just start admitting to people, like, I cried, I'm sad, I'm going through grief, I'm angry, I'm this, I'm that. Like, if you can just say it, it takes a lot of the pain away. Because I think part of the reason why these emotions get so big and scary is because we keep them to ourselves. And so sharing it like helps lessen that pain. But you actually did a really good job of sharing this stuff, man. Like, it felt like for a while there, it was like almost every day you were like, well, I cried again in a cafe today. Well, I went and sat in a park and I cried. For some reason, it was cafes that kept making you cry. And I still don't understand why. But bro, it felt like every day you were like, I cried in a cafe today. Like, why a cafe? What did a cafe do?
yeah. I don't know. I was just working remotely from cafes, so it was like, and it
Okay.
felt like even harder to do that, because obviously there are people around you.
Mm,
So I was like, okay, that's interesting.
mm,
Uh, yeah, it's. crying is good. What you said about unlearning stuff, it's exactly this. A lot of stuff you have to unlearn, and a lot of other stuff you learn. So yeah, it's been transformative.
I am like, as we're talking, I am writing notes because I am literally going to change the title of this podcast to Crying is Good and Pain is Good for the Soul. There you go. Beautiful. Amazing. But yeah, man, like we're funny creatures. Like women are funny in their own way as well, but like men are funny. Yeah, we're doing our best, but we do walk around like I'm a big alpha fucking male, and then someone's like, cry, then you're like, fuck you, I'm too strong for that. Or someone's like, be vulnerable, then just tell the truth, be honest, tell a woman that you find her hot. No, why not? Well, because then she could reject me, and it's like, but I thought you're a big tough fucking man. Like if you're a big, and I'm not trying to criticize anyone, but like I'm more talking about myself and my past version. If you're a big, strong, tough man, why can't you just walk up to a woman and be like, hi, I'm nervous and I thought you were cute and I wanted to say hello. Please be nice to me. And if you're not nice to me, that's okay. I'll just go away and cry and then I'll be okay later. Like, why can't I just say that? And that was part of the reason why I started being autistically honest, because I was just so scared. So I was scared, but I was so sick of like running away from my fears, man. I just got like so fucking tired of like pretending that I was this like perfect guy. And it sounds like you went through the same sort of thing of like all the pickup artist stuff and all the lines and all the games you have to play and all of that. And you're just like, this isn't real. Like, I'm scared to just tell her that I like her. And why? She's so fucking pretty and small. Like, girls are so cute and little. They're all small. Every girl is a midget. Like, you could put them in your fucking pocket. They're so small. I just want to cuddle every fucking woman on the planet. Why are we scared of them? And then women, for fuck's sakes, like, men just want to hug you and look after you and kiss you on the forehead and make you feel safe. Like, and then we walk around going like, that's scary. That thing over there is scary. It's only scary because you didn't go and talk to it or them or her. If you go and talk to them, you're like, wow, this isn't that scary. It's just a person like me, like you said. And one of my favorite sayings is, if I'm trying to connect with someone, I don't focus on the differences. I focus on the similarities or the things we have in common. And there are so many things that men and women have in common, man. Like they all want to be loved. They all want happiness. They all just want to be understood and to understand. And we're so used to like looking at them and just thinking like they're different, they're scary, they're better than me, or they're not as good as me. And when you start to see them as your fellow human beings, I sometimes joke, it sounds a bit crass, but women are just human beings with a pussy. And guess what? Men are just human beings with a cock. When you start realizing that, you can just walk over there and talk to them like a person. And I feel like that's all you ever did, man, in the coaching. You had all these crazy experiences by just going and saying hi and seeing what happens.
Yeah. And I think there's one other thing that I remember now, but that what we talked about, and I already also read it in the David Hawkins book. It was like a lot of people kind of think that you can go and do everything based on intuition, and a lot of women like women have better intuition than us because they like start training at
Probably,
like
yeah.
when they're
Yeah.
14, and by the age like 30 they have like great intuition. And we kind of start training it a bit later, but you can do a lot of stuff based on intuition, but ultimately and kind of feeling, and you can become really good at it, where you go and like feel someone how they feel and kind of understand them just based on what they're saying, and like how open they are, and how their body language is and everything like this. But ultimately you will never know 100% without asking. So you have to, if you really want to know, this is the way to do it, because sometimes your intuition will be wrong in some way, because so something will happen inside your head where it's like, oh, this person, you'll tell yourself some story, and it's not true. It's just, maybe it's your ego that's saying something. It's like it's not there, right? It's not true. And because most of the time your intuition is right and you're really intuitive, you
Yeah,
will
you just
kind of,
always trust it.
you always trust it. But what happens in those situations, you miss it. You miss completely the situations, and you miss understanding the person and whatever happens. So it's intuition plus the asking that gives you those 100% of knowing, and then everything they do is up to them afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I feel like so much of like male female problems, and the same as like racism and like every dividing line between one side and the other, all of their problems come from like assuming what the other side is thinking or what their intent is or what they're going to do, instead of just asking and treating them like they're on the same team as you and saying, hey, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? What are you thinking right now? When you said this, what did you mean? And especially in dating, bro, that's why you have like pickup artists and stuff like that. And they are literally trying to guess what a woman will do based on like just often a bunch of bullshit, man. And a lot of it becomes like superstitions where they're like, well, one time I did this and the woman ended up dating me or sleeping with me. And so that's the only thing that you can ever do. And you have to do it like that 100% of the time. Or they will do the opposite. They'll say, well, one time I tried being really honest and vulnerable with a woman. And she said, no, thank you. I have a boyfriend. See, honesty doesn't work. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? First of all, you only tried it once. You tried being honest and vulnerable once. And then you're like, this one woman didn't immediately jump on my dick. I'm sorry, but you're not that special. Honesty isn't some cheat code to get every woman in the planet to have sex with you or date you. It's a way of living. It's a philosophy, a mindset, a way of being in the world. And then second of all, she had a fucking boyfriend. No technique that you would have done. And even if you could do some magical technique to sleep with her, like, you want to go around sleeping with women that have a boyfriend and manipulating them and convincing them to do that? I'd rather just go out there and say, I want this. Do you want the same thing? And find the women who want that too. So a lot of this stuff, man, is just like people coming up with superstitions. And women do the same thing, bro. They have like gossip magazines and Cosmopolitan magazine, and they sit around in their circles and stuff and just talk about men as if men aren't in the room, which I guess the men aren't in the room. It's like, why don't you just get a man in the room and you could ask him and he would tell you how half of what you're saying right now is just utter bullshit and you're not even close with what you're saying. And some of the beautiful, really interesting conversations I've had with women when I just ask them questions and they ask me questions, bro, half the time you're just sitting there blowing each other's mind constantly. Like the number of women that I've had say to me, like when I tell them, like, here's some of my struggles, here's some of the struggles that my coaching clients go through. I've had so many women go, like, what? Like men get insecure? And you're like, are you tripping? Are you being fucking serious? And they're like, I didn't know that men got insecure. And you're like, what? Like you think that men are never, and she'll say, but I just thought men are stoic and they're super strong and they're brave and they're courageous and they just take what they want and everyone listens to them in the workplace and they're all courageous and confident. And you're like, why do you think incels exist? What the fuck? Do you think the average guy can just go out there and meet lots of women? Or the opposite? Guys would be like, any pretty woman must have no problems ever and she'll never be insecure and dating must be easy for her. And if you talk to women and say, and this is a question that I ask lots of women that I date, what are you insecure about? Bro, they'll tell you like 100 different things. And then you start to realize, oh shit, I'm insecure too. And you can have that conversation and sort of pave the pathway to better communication. But a lot of this stuff is just assumptions, man. And like you said, bro, you said like 75% or a bunch of the time you're right. I feel like, man, half of the assumptions that our brain wants to make are just incorrect immediately. I don't even know if we're right like 10% of the time, maybe 20% of the time. Like I'm talking about the average guy and the average girl. I just think they have no clue about the other gender because if they're not talking to them, how would they? And if they don't have any male or female friends, how would they know?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely, yeah, this is something I've been learning, and the more you let go of all those assumptions,
Mm.
the easier it gets. And yeah, there are obviously some stuff where you can see when someone is nervous, but
Yes.
like really nervous, or
Yes.
like
Yes. Yes.
there are
And
like
even
physical
then,
symptoms of some stuff. But even then, you
but
can
even
still ask. Yeah, yeah,
yes, and talk
yeah,
about it because like you knowing they're nervous, that doesn't help them. But you saying like, "Hey, are you nervous right now?" And they go, "Yes," and you go, "That's cool. Like, do you want to talk about it? How can I help you?" Like without that communication, even knowing it doesn't necessarily help. And I think
yeah,
again, people are afraid to have those conversations. I call it like breaking the meta, where you talk about the thing that you both know that's right in front of you, but you're both afraid to say. Like, I'm nervous. Are you? Yes. Let's talk about it.
yeah. And also, whenever even if you see someone that's nervous and you're like, okay, they are nervous for whatever reason, or that girl is looking for me, you already always attach a story to it, some story that your brain makes up. It's not enough. Yeah, you see something that you notice something that is, let's say, correct, but you attach some story. For example, you explain you attach a story of why is it happening. For example, you see some girl that is nervous. She may be nervous for 1,000 reasons, but your ego is like, no, you made her nervous, or like
Oh, dude, yeah,
something
and you
like
take it
this.
personally. Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
take it personally,
yeah.
or like something like this, where it wasn't about you at all.
Hmm. Dude, so many people in dating will like give up way too early because, like, here's a really good example. A guy gets a girl's phone number. He will text her and be like, "Hey, I'd love to grab that coffee with you. Are you free on Friday at 3 p.m.?" And she'll say, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have any time on Friday. But I could do Saturday." And he will go, "No, she's not that into me. If she was into me, she would see me on Friday when I asked her to. Now she's like trying to reschedule or something. No, no, she can't be into me. So I'm just gonna ghost her." And you're like, what the fuck, my friend? She literally said, "Can you meet me on Saturday?" Like, what are you doing? The girls do the same thing. Like, a guy takes 7 hours to reply to her text because it's like Monday and he's at work all day. And then she'll get her friends and be like, "Do you think he's not into me? Like, why did he take 7 hours?" Well, you're right, honey. If he was into you, he would have replied immediately. And they'll just play all these fucking games. Like, we had someone like this, and I'm not trying to call anyone specifically out, but we had someone like this on our live stream. And like when I was doing the live streams over Christmas, and she was basically saying, "Hey, there's this guy who takes this long to reply to my text and blah blah blah. Should I just ghost him or should I take that long to reply to the text back? Like, should I play games with him? Should I send him a picture of me in the lingerie so that will get his attention?" Like, she was trying to play games and shit. And I was like, "Why don't you just fucking text him and say, how come you take so long to reply to the text?" And so she finally did. It took her a couple of days to work up the courage. She sends him the text and he's just like, "Oh, I'm busy and blah blah blah, and I'm working and blah blah blah." And then she can make a decision as to whether or not she wants to keep talking to him or move on. And so all of these problems kind of just go away when we talk about it. But for a lot of us, that's like the last thing that we ever think to do. Because I don't know, man, there's this like idea of power when it comes to men and women. Like, whichever one is the most vulnerable loses all the power. And if I just admit that I'm nervous, then I've lost all the power. If I just say, "Hey, what are you thinking?" then I've lost the power. I should have just known. And like men and women will play this fucking game of pretending that they know. You called it like wearing a mask. And yeah, it is wearing a mask. It's like wearing this fake mask of like, I know what I'm doing. And I know what you're thinking. And I know what and the second you say, "I don't know what I'm doing," you think you've lost. You've only lost to someone that wants to play that power game. And there's lots of people like that. You even kind of said, as soon as you stop wearing a mask, there are some people that won't accept the real you, like because they want to keep putting the mask on and playing this game. Great, move on. Go talk to the people that don't want to wear a mask or were never wearing one in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And what's interesting, it's even true like in the working place, like the more you, because like at work, you're like, at least for me, it was always like, I have to like be this specific guy that I'm hired to be, and no,
Mm,
never like show any like, never say anything about like what's going on in my personal life, never like be honest.
mm,
And when I try to be honest, just a bit, like I'm not like full on honest talking about all my problems or what, but like just being a bit more honest with what's going on. Like people have received it really well, and it was had been, I have had like amazing response that I didn't expect, again, as in girls. So yeah, well,
mm.
it's really interesting about the mask and everything. It's not true, and not as true as we believe.
Okay, I want to give more context there. So in the workplace, basically, you were opening up about some personal stuff that you were going through, and you were so scared to do that, man. I swear to God, it took you like a month to be able to do that, which is so brave of you. And then as soon as you opened up, I think to your boss or your colleague or something, they were just so fucking nice to you, man. They were like, "Yeah, we'll take some time off. Like, go chill. Like, we got you, man. It's all good." Again, I think that's one of the things of like, I have to be professional. All these stories that we made up, they're like, they didn't even tell us. It's not like your boss was like, "Listen, I need you to never have any personal problems ever. I need you to be 100% efficient all the time, always, forever. Otherwise, I'm going to fire you." And what's funny is, I don't know if you remember, but we encouraged you to go to your boss and say, like, "Am I doing a bad job?" Because you were really terrified that you were. And your boss was like, "No, you're fucking great." And so, like, we're not even accurate when we judge ourselves or other people, man. We're so far off.
Yeah, that's so true. And
Yeah.
actually, the story that you mentioned about being professional, like not sharing emotions and everything, and like
Mm.
thinking that this is that's what's wanted from you in your workplace. Actually, the whole opposite is true, because people are like, they're still people, they know what you're going through, and especially if they're like older than you, they're like, yeah, I've gone through this,
Yeah.
I know what it is, so they have empathy
And they
towards
want to
you,
help.
and they
Yeah.
want to help, and they see you like a normal human being, not like a robot. It's the same with like girls and everything. So yeah.
I was just going to say, copy what you just said and copy paste it to girls. Yeah. Men and women listening as well, same thing. But women want to meet a person, not a fucking robot. And for a long time, I was a robot. Maybe you were too. And I thought I had to hide my emotions. I thought I had to just say the exact same thing to every woman. I thought I had to just have a pickup line that I said every time. And I did that for years. And the more I've gone deep with honesty and vulnerability and just being my normal self, good, bad, whatever, like I'm having a bad day, I'm having a good day, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm tired. I just tell women all the time now. I'm just like, hey, I'm really tired today, so I won't have a lot of energy. Are you fine with that? Hey, I'm a bit stressed right now, so like my mind might not be present. Are you okay with that? Hey, I'm really nervous right now. Do you mind if we just hang out for a little bit and talk so I can calm down? Like I just tell them. And the more I've found, or the more I've done these honest, beautiful conversations, they fucking open up to me too. And like men listening, don't you want women to be open and honest with you? Like, wouldn't it be nice if she just told you, I'm nervous, and then you could help her? I mean, men love to help. Women do too, by the way. That's the point that I'm making. And men, don't you want to help women? Like, if she says, I'm nervous, don't you want to just give her a big hug and be like, it's okay? And what you'll find is when you open up to women, they are so unbelievably sweet. I mean, for fuck's sakes, like, I feel like women's entire job is to like listen to emotions and know how to deal with people's emotions and know how to help them. Like, I feel like that's what they spend like 50% of their time doing, sitting around talking about feelings. And so, what do you think happens if you walk up and share your fucking feelings? She'll go, oh my God, great. Like, good job. You're so courageous. They'll tell you you're brave, by the way, a lot of them. Now, some of them won't. And I think that's where people develop a superstition. They'll share stuff with a woman and she won't have a great reaction, or she just won't know how to handle it, or she doesn't like honesty and she'll leave. And then he'll go, shit, honesty doesn't work. And it's like, no, no, no. It's about finding the people that you can be vulnerable with. And you can take baby steps with that. Like you and I are not saying, walk up to a woman on the street and be like, hi, my dad never loved me and I cry every day and I feel like a loser and I just think women are so pretty and I don't know how to talk to them and I'm a stupid piece of shit. Like, although in the right context with the right owning and masculinity of it and without shame or guilt, you can be like that. I have been like that. I have a friend who was like that. He literally would walk up to women and just like this at the start when he first started talking to women, he would walk up to them and literally be that honest. He'd be like, hi, I don't know how to talk to women. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get laid. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I came from a poor area of town and I'm kind of a loser. Like, what's up? And then they'd be like, what? And then they'd be like, I said, what's up? I'm kind of a loser. I'm learning to talk to girls. What are you up to today? Like, what's up? And she'd be like, uh, what? I'm just shopping. And he's like, cool. Like, what are you buying? Like, you just fucking own it. Like, you know, I went through this for a while. Like, guys will ask me this question a lot. They'll say, if a woman asks me what I'm doing when I hit on her, like she says, what are you doing today? What should I say to her? You know, should I tell her that I'm shopping? Should I tell her that I'm just about to meet a friend? Like, what lie should I tell her? And I always say, what if you just told her the truth? I'm trying to work on my sex life or my dating life or my social skills. And so I'm just going around talking to girls today. And when you tell that, the reaction that most girls will say is like, you already know because you've been dishonest. They'll be like, what? Really? And you're like, yeah, like, what do you mean? I'm trying to learn how to talk to women. Like, do you want to talk to me? And it's so refreshing to have someone just tell the fucking truth, man. Or like, this is what I do on dating apps. And, you know, when I meet people, I'm just like, here's what I'm looking for. I want a casual relationship. I'm into BDSM. Would you like to explore that with me? And some people are like, no. Some people are like, wow, what the fuck? Can we just talk about this? Yeah, why not? And like, you were that honest with girls in person and it went freaking beautifully, man. Like 98% of the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And it kind of frees you up a lot. Like you're
Yeah.
not in your head. I think this is like one of the biggest things, because otherwise, at least I always like kind of think, well, I have to like go and have fun. Why am I not having fun? What's wrong? what's happening.
Mm.
And when you're just honest, like you can go and say to her, I didn't even want to approach you. Like I was so scared. I don't even want to be here. I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm doing. You can literally
dude.
say stuff
Yeah.
like this and
Yes.
whatever's in your head. And
Yeah.
it, like there are obvious days where like I'm not even ready, like I'm hitting on girls, like I'm doing it, but like I'm not really, how can I explain it, feeling it, like in the sense where I'm not ready right now to have like to go on a date or something. But like when you go and talk to some girls, these things
Mhm.
change. Like,
Mm.
and after a few girls, you can be like, I feel way better. I talked to some
Mm.
people, and now I'm ready to go and
Mm.
do what you basically change. This is one of the other things that I learned is like you're not like this fixed state that you are. You're a constant process that changes. You're a constant process that evolves and changes between like I can be like super sexual right now, and in 2 hours I won't be. And this changes. And I can be super sexual the whole day, and then the other day I won't be. But it really depends.
I want to tell you something that I think you're already going to know, but it might be interesting to say. I agree with you. And you are also a constant that never changes. And you might say, like, what are you talking about? You eventually learn to be constantly honest, to be constantly present, to be constantly truthful. And like, this is what I call autistic honesty. Whatever is in your head, say that as long as it wouldn't hurt the other person, obviously. But just say what's in your head, say it. And so if you're in a super sexual mood one day, like literally just be honest and be like, I'm super sexual today. I'm just feeling my sexual energy. I got this beautiful, like fucking Kundalini energy, as the hippies say. Like, I'm just ready to go. Like, I'd love to share that with you. And lots of women are feeling their sexual energy too, especially if you express yours in a very honest way. And they'll go, wow, amazing. I'm feeling my sexual energy too. Holy crap. And then the next day, you might not be feeling sexual. You might be feeling tired, sad, depressed, grumpy, whatever. Go share that. Like you said, dude, the number of women I've walked up to and just said, like, hey, how's it going? Like, you're super cute. I'll be honest, I'm like super tired and like, excuse the fact that I don't have a lot of energy right now, but like, you're cute. Like, are you single? Like, what's up? And like, we talk. I do this before dates lots of times. I will say, I'm nervous. And so, like, just give me like 30 minutes to kind of relax a little bit. And every time I send that, she says, I'm nervous too. Obviously, no shit. Or I don't have a lot of energy. And so I won't be excited. Do you mind if we just have a chill date today? Do you mind if we just kind of sit on the beach and it's relaxed and calm and chill and all of that? You can just be honest. So the honesty is something that never changes. So you are always the exact same. You're like peaceful and you never change that, but the internal state might go up and down. It's just that you don't really care. You're like, I mean, we call that, what do we call it? It's like equanimity, stoic, peaceful.
Yeah. One thing though, at least for me even now, and like some of this stuff it's hard. So you kind of you can I can go and like understand some concept, like for example, honesty or like being self-aware or like vulnerability, and you can kind of go and understand them. But like internalizing and doing them is takes practice, and it takes
Yes.
some time and courage, especially like courage and all of these qualities, they take time and practice, and you can literally forget, oh, I forgot to be honest. Like, wait,
Yes.
what was I doing the past hour? I forgot to be honest. Like, why?
Mm.
And this, it takes some time for you, for your understanding to actually be internalized, and this is the practice, practicing the theory basically.
You're undoing habits that you've probably had
Yeah.
for like your entire life, like everybody listening. Like, I wasn't honest for most of my life. I think if most people would be honest with themselves, they will admit that they're not always honest. Like, we all lie. I still lie to this day. So do you. And it takes a while to replace that. For me, I think it probably took about 2 or 3 years. Like, I would say I'm a pretty honest person now. I'm not always honest, but pretty honest. That took probably 2 or 3 years of like actively working on it. And most of you can probably do it quicker because I have like 50 articles and videos on honesty and I know which books to recommend you. But I had to read a bunch of books and, oh, this one helped me with honesty. This one didn't. This one kind of did. Like, I had to read so many books. And now I can tell you which ones would be good. So you can do it quicker. But like, it takes a little while. We're undoing basically the default of all of society. Like society is built on a lot of truths, but also a lot of falsehoods. Like we know that politicians just lie constantly. And then we all go to the voting booth and vote for which one we think will lie the least. Like an entire society, basically every society is built on lies. There are probably some exceptions out there, but like most of the world politics operates on lies. Most of the news, or at least a huge chunk of the news, operates on lies. Like a lot of dating and stuff is lying. There are a lot of scams out there. I lie a lot. You lie a lot. We try not to, but like lying is just sort of a part of humanity. And it doesn't have to be that way, but rewriting that might take a little bit of time and patience and understanding. I think something that helps is not beating yourself up when you feel like you're going backwards.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Because it
definitely
happens.
true. It's that stuff about the positivity. Like I remember when the first content I bought from you was that course. That's a winner. I
The
forget
play to
its name.
win course. Yeah.
Play to win course. Yeah, I watched it. I was like, okay. I think I watched I read the book. I don't even remember. I read the book and I was like, okay, this is good stuff. Let me save it for later.
I'm going to be positive. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really good. I'm gonna save it for later. Like many websites, I'm just gonna bookmark it to read it later, to never be read again and see it again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but like when you actually start practicing this stuff, you go. At
Mm.
least I went into the course and it was really good. And it was really helpful. It was like a lot of the things that like Byron Katie, David Hawkins, and like and it's kind of summarized in a sense the main parts.
Yes.
And it's kind of at least to me even now it's kind of hard to apply and I kind of forget about a lot of the stuff, but
It takes
as
practice. Like,
it takes practice. As you practice more and more and you realize and you kind of realize, okay, I can practice this here, this there, and so on, then it gets easier. And yeah, this is I didn't realize it at the time, but now it's like super useful.
yeah, things like honesty and understanding and communication and practice and all of that kind of stuff. It shows up in different ways, or you have different opportunities of where to use it. So like, you might be really good at being honest when you walk up to a woman on the street and say hello. Like you're just so good at being honest. You're like, hi, I found you really attractive. I'd love to say hi. Are you single? Like you're so good at being honest. And she says, yes, I'd love to. You get her phone number. You go on a date. And then she says a question to you, like, what do you do for work? And then you find yourself lying. You just tell a lie, or you don't tell the whole truth. Like maybe you're between jobs and you just lie and say, I work in IT. And it's like, technically, no, you don't, buddy. You're unemployed right now. So you lie a little bit. That's okay. Now that's an opportunity to practice that next time, or immediately tell her, I'm sorry. Actually, I just told you a lie. I'm kind of, to be more honest, I'm kind of between jobs right now, but I used to work in IT. Like you always have an opportunity to like retry or fix it. And then you get really good at like being honest on the first date. Maybe you then take it to the bedroom and she asks you a question like, I don't fucking know. Like, have you had an STD check? And you're like, yeah, I had one a month ago. And like, you didn't really, you had an STD check a year ago. And then you catch yourself lying. Like the point that I'm making here is we think we're really good at like being honest, and we practice it and we go, I'm pretty honest. And then a new situation will come up and you'll find yourself accidentally lying. I do this. Like I still do this. You do too. But I've just gotten decent, not great, but decent at then telling the person afterwards and saying, I'm sorry, man, I wasn't fully honest with you. So yeah, it's funny that honesty it's a little bit more deep than just I'm going to be honest from now on. It's like you almost have to learn how to be honest in each individual situation, because you've built habits of just telling little white lies all the time. And that's not good or bad. It's just what we do as humans, and we're unlearning that.
Yeah, definitely true. And it's about I think all about those qualities. It's like even vulnerability, being open with
Yeah.
people, and all of this stuff is exactly like this. You kind of learn based on situation. It's like approaching girls, like talking to girls. Every every different situation with girls, like talking to two girls, talking to five girls, talking to guy and a girl, talking to a girl sitting, talking to a girl that's in a hurry, talking to a girl in a shop, talking to a girl in the mall, in the club, in the bar. It's so you kind of have it gets easier, and because you kind of
Yeah.
train the muscles to do it, but you still have to do some reps to be
Yeah.
fully comfortable doing it.
Each new situation feels entirely new, and you're all of a sudden rusty and nervous again. Yeah. I get this with podcasts, for instance. Like, I've done so many podcasts, I've collaborated with new people all the time. But if I'm sitting down with someone that I've never talked to before, I'm nervous. Like, I just always am. If I go on a new date with a new person, even though I've been on so many dates I've lost count, it's like I'll be nervous to meet this new person. So I think it's just a normal human thing when we go into a new situation. I want to sort of take like a little bit of a detour here and just read something out that I really want this to be in the episode. You said at the end of your coaching, I had a lot of moments of pain and suffering where I was trying to process what is going on in my head. And every single one of those moments, no matter how shit it felt at the time, led to something beautiful. Do you realize like you've done it, bro? You're enlightened. Like you did it. You did the goal. Not really, but like you did the goal that like every human being wants. Is like imagine if you can look at everything, maybe not in the moment, but you can look back and be like, yeah, I could see something beautiful in that. Like, bro, that's a pretty beautiful life if you keep doing that.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, in the moment though, in the
Yeah,
moment
I know.
it's
No, I know. Yeah.
yeah, in the moment it's like, oh no. But in the yeah, yeah, but afterwards there's definitely something that you can get from it. Like, yeah, especially like what you said that, and like all this knowledge that you're saying, this is not some unique truth that is that you have just come up with. It's like just human knowledge that has been given through generations to people to people.
Always,
It's
yeah.
a
Just be
it's
honest.
like,
Just be honest. Just tell the truth. Just
yeah,
be compassionate. It's like everyone's saying that. Yeah.
yeah, be positive, think,
Yeah.
see the silver
Yeah.
lining in things and find the
Hmm.
goodness. This is all,
Yep.
this like even from ancient Greek
Yep.
philosophers comes, it's the same things. It's literally the same knowledge that we're just learning, keep learning, and you just
And then
find
we
your
hand it to the
favorite,
next person. Yeah.
yeah, and you just find your favorite spiciness based on the
Yeah.
person's
Yeah.
unique flavor of how they
Mm.
say that same knowledge. It's the same. And you kind of learn the same things. And even like pickup artists, like they do the internal game stuff and whatever. It's the same knowledge. It's the same
Yes. Yes.
things. It's religion is the same things. It's all the same things, and you kind of get into that. It all leads to the same, I don't know, the same way of thinking, I guess. And one of those is exactly that, being positive, and
Yep.
seeing something, some of the things happening for you instead of
Yep.
happening to you. And how can this be like good? How can this be something that's happening that's good to me, and how can I learn something from it, and how can I grow from this instead of feeling like it happened to you? And again, as everything we've said, it's definitely a process, and it's definitely something you get better at recognizing this. But yeah, that's kind of,
Yeah, man. Crying is good. Pain is good for the soul. If you say that it is, and it always is. What
yeah.
goals do you have coming up in the future? What's in the future for Mr. Victor?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to build like more, even more like build up my sexual life and go. I see this as a phase where I just
Mhm.
want to like. It's a phase where I will definitely enjoy. And from everything I've read with the people that've gone through this phase, you, other coaches, and other people that have gone, it's like a phase you go through where you really get laid and you kind of figure out your sexuality a lot and what you like,
Mm.
what you don't like. You build yourself up in what ways you want to become that person that's actually can do this thing of actually getting laid a lot. And yeah, this is my future for now. This is what I want. And uh, yeah, that's basically it. And of
I
course,
think that
I
sounds
guess,
pretty beautiful.
building myself up doing it.
Yeah, that's a consequence. That's like you figured this out very early. You were like, oh, wait, this isn't just about women and getting laid. This is about me. This is about like the energy I'm putting out into the world. It's about who I am. It's about like the impact I'm having on my friends and family. Like, we didn't really talk about that. But yeah, you had a big impact on your friends and family, started coaching other people and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, at some point you realize like, wait, this isn't just about sex. And it's like, yeah, I know. I've been saying that since the start. I know that if I talk about sex a lot on this channel, it gives the impression of like sex must be the only important thing. It's like, no, listen to what I say every time I talk about sex. I talk about honesty. I talk about connection. I talk about leaving people better than you found them. I talk about improving yourself, your mindset, humility, peace, love, enlightenment, all of that. And when we start to realize that, man, that's when the magic fucking happens. So yeah, dude, let's start wrapping up. I'm super grateful for you being here. I'd love to know a little bit, about how you feel about the coaching. Like, how do you feel about your decision to sign up? And was there any sort of resistance there at the start to signing up?
Yeah, well, if I have to be honest, well, do you know what's funny? I realize this, and you do this too. I realized that when I talk to you, like we always say stuff like in our speech, we just say, if I have to be honest, if I'm not gonna lie, and all of these things, we kind of add them in order
Because we're
for
scared
the
to
other.
just be honest.
Yeah, and just do this, and we still do this all the time, and
Yeah.
uh, it's something that I started catching myself doing it. If I'm working on my honesty, why am I saying if I have to be honest?
Yeah. Or they'll
I'm
say,
trying.
hey, I'm about to be really honest with you. Can I be really
Yeah,
honest with you? It's like just do it. But that's like the baby step to being able to do it.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, for me, it wasn't like I had the money, so it wasn't like a hard decision. Um, it was more like I thought about it, like whether it would be useful
Mm.
for me. Like, and I at some point I was like, well, let's experiment and see what happens. And I was like, let's do it, see what happens, and just kind of trust, give blind trust. And at the moments I was really driven towards my goal, and not that I'm not now, but like in the moment of doing it, I thought about it for like a month, and then when I made a decision, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And then we had a call, and it didn't matter what you said on this call. If it was like unless you said something like insanely crazy that made me feel like super bad or something, then
Mm.
I was ready to go because I had thought about it and I had made the decision. And and it's been like, for me, it's been like life changing, to say at least. And I have put on a lot of work, like sharing a lot of stuff. So it wasn't
You
like,
have, yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like you have I just signed up for coaching and you fixed me.
No,
It
you
wasn't
have
like
to
this.
do the work. I make it
Yeah,
really clear on the coaching page. You have to
yeah,
do the work. We will help you. But like, yeah,
yeah,
you can't just sign up and do nothing. Yeah.
yeah. And I've seen it with other people and like if family members where it's expected kind of to go in and, well, those are the professional people, like those are the people that do that thing, and you just go in and you're like, oh, they're gonna do it and everything's gonna the magic will happen. No, it's actually mainly you doing the work. I
Mhm.
didn't realize this at the time, but like it's mainly you doing the work and then those people kind of guiding you and
Yes.
helping you. It may be I don't know how to say it, but you're kind of the main character of this whole thing, and the
Yeah.
other people are like just assisting you with advice and helping you,
Yes.
but you're
I
doing
am
the
an
main things.
extra. I am an extra in the movie of your life, Victor.
Yeah,
And the same for any of the rest of you. Yeah. So like it's your life. Don't be expecting all the extras to do all the work. We will love you. We will support you. We'll change your life and all of that. But like you have to be willing. Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing is that it's interesting that it's true that you have everything for free. Basically, like
Yeah, on my
Yeah, you
website and even
yeah.
outside of my website, there's other people out there with lots of free stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and the big part of the coaching is basically, I guess, in one way, once you start doing the actions, how to
Mm.
actually apply it, and actually a really big part is basically getting reminded about it because you literally forget. Oh, I forgot to be honest. Oh, I forgot to be positive. Oh, I forgot to be
Which sounds
vulnerable.
so funny, but it's so fucking
Yeah,
true, man. Like, yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it'll
It's
just keep coming up with coaching clients. They'll be like, "Hey, what do I say to this girl?" And I'll be like, "Just be honest, remember?" And they'll go, "Oh yeah, I can just tell her." Like,
yeah,
dude, there's people that have been coaching with, like, I've been coaching for years, and like, still now, I will say, like, "Hey, what would happen if you're honest?" And they go, "Oh yeah, man, shit, okay, yeah." So yeah, we forget.
yeah. Yeah, it's literally this. It's like just reminding,
Mm,
oh, you can do this, you're allowed to do this, and all those things. And I'm like, wow, I forget about them, and I still forget that forget about a lot of stuff. And I like I took meticulous notes. Like I've copied comments, I have like chat GPT them, and like I have made them simple. I have like lists of comments. You don't know how many notes I have. I like have thousands and thousands of words of notes. And even if I go through them, I'll be like, oh yeah, I forget to do that. And oh yeah, so you kind of forget, and a big part of this is like getting reminded. And this is
mm,
what is basically the difference between understanding and internalizing thing. When once you kind of internalize it a lot, you don't really need that much of a reminder. You will still forget, but not that much. While when you
mm.
just understand it, it's well, yeah, you understand that being honest is good, but if you don't practice it, if you not try different situations, this is where it's missing. And this the coaching has been like so good for me.
Yeah, the reason I pay my coaches, like I have some coaches, I pay them to remind me of stuff, like you said. I pay them to speed run. Like, if
Yeah,
I pay my coach, I'm going to achieve the thing 100 times quicker. Like, you'll still get there. It's just that you're basically having a person, like you said, that will remind you of stuff, tell you stuff that you're not noticing, and just make it like 10 times easier because they're not so emotional as you. Like, when we're trying to work on our self improvement, even me in my own life, you get emotional, you get sad, you get frustrated, you feel hopeless. And the coach will just come in there and be like, "Hey, here's the answer." And you go, "Oh, okay. That's so simple." So, yeah, you're paying them to make it simple for you.
yeah.
All right, my
You
friend. So if you had more to say, go, big boy.
No, yeah, but okay, about speedrunning, this is definitely true. And just talking to people,
Yeah,
and them helping you. Although you have to be like choosy with who helps you because yeah, but ultimately, getting help and talking to people is it's when you even solve your problems on your own. When you talk to someone and you're trying to help them, you're actually solving your own problem.
yeah. All right, my friend, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all the amazing, insane courage that you showed. Taylor and I have said this to you quite a lot of times, and I'll continue to say it. There were lots of times in the coaching that you taught us a lot of stuff. You were incredibly brave, incredibly courageous. You went out there and just tackled honesty, vulnerability, connection, communication, and all of that. I appreciate you being here, and I am fucking blessed to have known you, my man. So thank you.
Yeah, likewise here. Yeah, lots of love, and it's been amazing.
Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for joining us on that really cool, really interesting interview with that amazing client of mine. Right now might be the perfect time for you to sign up for the coaching program. If you sign up in the next 10 days, you will get $2,000 off the price and you'll get an extra 4 weeks. You can take a payment plan if you need to. I'm happy to jump on a free call with you and talk through everything that you might be feeling, thinking, or wanting. Link in the description below. Thank you again for watching.